Good.
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait for us to confirm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just stay with what we got. Thank you. Okay, we are live.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It is 9:01, and I think Jim does that. So we're going to call the meeting to order at 9:01. This is the February meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners. We want to say welcome to everyone who's here this morning. We have three of us. Three of the commissioners are here in the room with us. Commissioner Castellini, Commissioner North, and President Getz is present with us via Zoom. So welcome to everyone. We are going to first have our public comments. As we start this morning, as we typically do, we've got a few cards here for people who are present or going to make comments to us. We also want to acknowledge receipt of several email comments, primarily regarding the proposed Burnett Woods Dog Park. We want to acknowledge that we have received those, and those will be included in the permanent record, the formal record of this meeting. So thank you all very much for sending in those comments. And now we're going to move to hearing from the commenters who are present in the room with us. When I call your name, please come up. You will have the floor for 2 minutes to complete your comments. And the first name I have here is Bernard Rumpke.
Morning.
Good morning.
I live at 6275 Morton Road, Liberty Township, Ohio. I'm going to speak about, this is a visual map of the area. I am a neighbor
Thank you.
to Caldwell Preserve. And I'm terminal, North Bend Road. These are for somebody that's not here. The truck terminal was started in 1962. The Corps of Engineers straightened the Mill Creek between North Bend and Seymour. My father took some land and created a commercial area on which 3 buildings are sitting now, and they enter this property through a driveway. And under that driveway is a large drain pipe that takes the water from the west side of Caldwell Preserve and brings it down to the Mill Creek. Presently, the pipe is clogged with debris that has come from the Mill Creek, from the preserve. And I started to talk about, well, first of all, in 62, we built this. It's been there 60 years. There's 3 buildings. There are 200 people employed, and they have been employed for 60 years. There's been as much as 400 trailers and 100 trucks worked out of this situation. Epcor Foundries is back there. We all have to go over this waterway, and now the water is running over the driveway. I talked to a guy named, I don't really know his name because he didn't have a card, but he said his name was Paul Tunis, and I talked to him in July. And I said, Paul, we've got a lot of dry weather here. If you could do this and fix up this debris, because in 1992, Dwight Tillery put in a new bridge. He was the mayor at the time.
Apologies, just so you know, it's been 2 minutes, so up to you guys.
Okay.
In 92, 30 years ago, they built this, they put this pipe in for the bridge and our driveway. And there's a big concrete headwater there. And 15 years ago, actually 92 was 30 years ago. 15 years ago, the park came in at our request to clear out this pipe so that the water would drain, because right now, if you look at the map, there is a building that's right next to the creek, and now the creek is going through the building. And it's a garage. It's ruining equipment, it's ruining the morale of the people that work there. It's very hard to get people to work in a garage anyway, diesel mechanics. And so I started in July talking to Paul Tumas, and we talked twice until September. And then I said, look, it's the dry season. Are we ever going to do this? And he said, well, you know, I've been talking to some people, and now 3 months later, he tells me that they're going to get an opinion from an attorney as to whether or not you're liable.
Excuse me, sir.
And so we're still flowing through the building. And I also spoke to a guy named Hood, whose card he gave me.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
We're limiting our comments to 2 minutes. And so I'd appreciate it if you would wrap your comments up. I appreciate you've got a lot to say there. And we understand you've been in contact with somebody in the department. And I'm guessing that that is your ask at this point.
I've commented to everybody in the department, including Mr. Mers, to Ms. Hood. I emailed all of the board members. I emailed the temporary president. It was acknowledged that they received everything, but it's been 6 months. And you know what's going to happen today? Water's going through the garage. And so I think it's irresponsible because the pipe is there. I've done my part. It's up to you to keep the water flowing through the pipe. And you've done it once. I think you should do it again. And I think you should communicate better to me. And Tuma says, I'm sorry, we can't fix it because I can't get anybody to bid on it. I could get anybody to bid on it. And he said, I could get my people to go down and clear it out. He said, but most of the people aren't working here anymore, like you've lost a lot of people. So I don't know what's going on here, but as I read the agenda, millions of dollars from the state, millions for this park, that park. We need some maintenance.
Thank you.
Maintenance on your part.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. All right, the next person up is Kate Kern and Caitlin, is it Steger?
Siegel Hartzler.
Siegel.
So, yeah, we're speaking on the same topic.
Yeah, so, good morning. We appreciate this opportunity. I'm Kate Kern. I am advisory council chairperson for Kennedy Heights Park. That's what we're here. We're very energized by the focus on the neighborhood parks. We have a historic opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to
Caitlin Siegel Hartzler. I'm a neighbor of the park. I'm also a member of the Kennedy Heights Community Council's steering committee for their community plan. And we're completing the plan. During the process, I chaired a group looking just at Kennedy Heights Park and its adjacent property, which is the old Schroeder School. You may know that acquiring that property is part of the park's master plan. And so we were very attentive to that in planning for the neighborhood, making sure neighbors were on board with the possibility of expanding the park into that property. It is available right now. And so there is a historic opportunity that faces the Parks Board. This would be the moment to decide if that part of the master plan will be fulfilled or not, because it will become housing otherwise. So I can just let you know the Port Authority is involved. They are ready to purchase the property and demolish. So we've met with John recently just to update you on that. And they have made an offer to the owner, which has been rejected. The owner is also in housing court and has been ordered to either demolish, sell, or bring the building up to code, which is not really possible. So yeah, it is an incredible opportunity to work with the port and perhaps acquire the property. We'd love that. We'd love to see a master plan for the site that could identify what parts, if part of it should become housing, what parts would be better used as housing, what parts would be a good expansion of the wetland that's in the park. That's been such a wonderful asset for the neighborhood. But just to close, we'd love to invite the commissioners and John. We've been trying to get John out to see the park, and every single time it snows, I don't know why. But yeah, we'd love to take you on a tour, and if you'd like to have more information about the situation, we'd be happy to come present.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Really appreciate your coming in. And we really appreciate community engagement with our park. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I think we have one more. The name is Rachel Wells.
Yes, my name is Rachel Wells, and I'm a neighbor to the planned Burnett Woods Dog Park. I'm opposed to this site, and I'm here today because I'm concerned about your plans to engage a landscape architect to create concept renderings as a fundraising tool. This is described in your capital improvement updates today. Rather than diving into fundraising, I am asking Cincinnati Parks to conduct environmental studies on wildlife and water quality and share those studies with the community. Outline a maintenance plan and revenue source for the increased operating costs. Answer the questions and concerns raised by neighborhood and park groups. Conduct a community survey specific to Burnett Woods site and directly engage immediate neighbors. Many neighbors are unaware that Burnett Woods is being considered for this major use change. Adjacent to several multifamily buildings, a dog park at the site will have significant residential impact. To date, no surveys have shown support for a dog park in Burnett Woods. A recent survey by UC students showed a majority were opposed. The most recent Cincinnati Park survey about Uptown Dog Park was focused on nearby Donner Park, and the majority were opposed. Clifton Town Meeting approved a resolution last year raising serious questions about the potential environmental impacts and loss of green space. Your own Burnett Woods Parks Advisory Council, a significant source of volunteer labor, has issued 2 resolutions opposing the dog park. Cincinnati Parks relies heavily on volunteers to maintain Burnett Woods. The dog park requires significant maintenance, and we cannot rely on the same volunteers to control invasive species to pick up excrement from a development they don't want. So what does it say about Cincinnati Parks when it moves to engage wealthy donors before it has engaged site neighbors, many of whom have no access to private green space? What does it say about Cincinnati Parks when it seeks to appeal to pocketbooks before it has answered the questions and concerns of those who invest their time, energy, and labor to maintain the existing green space? Please reconsider your next steps and conduct a full data-rich siting process that proactively engages and respects those who will be most affected. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And that concludes the comments from the people who are present here with us today. As I mentioned earlier, we have received several in writing, and those will be a part of our permanent record. So thank you all very much. Moving on with the agenda, I'd point out that we are going to go into executive session this morning, and I have verbiage to read about that. But before we get to that, what I wanted to do is just take a moment to say congratulations, a couple of congratulations to offer this morning. First, to the Bengals. I think everybody here is excited about the amazing season they had and how well they represented our city, how they became a rallying point for unity in our city. And we say thank you to them and congratulations for a great season. So for the Bengals. The second one is I'd like to offer our congratulations to our partners at the Cincinnati Parks Foundation. They have been awarded the 12th Annual Governor's Award by the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association for their Be Well initiative. We congratulate them. That's a wonderful recognition of the work they do. We thank them for all the work they do for us in parks and in turn for all of us in the city. So we say congratulations to our partners at Cincinnati Parks Foundation. Before we get into the business of our agenda, we are going to go into executive session. And I have here what we have to read on this. I move under revised code section 121.22G to go into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, and compensation of a public employee or official. That is the motion. And may we have a second on that motion?
So moved.
Thank you. And we are going to do a roll call vote. Would you please?
Commencing roll call vote. President Getz,
Yes.
Vice President Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Castellini,
Yes.
Commissioner Linder is not present. Commissioner North,
Yes.
motion passes.
We are now going to go into executive session and we will resume the business of the meeting after